Great. Yep. Should work now. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I'll just make sure that everything is as it should be. Basically, today's going to be more getting interview participants work. Hopefully I'll get some. Yeah. Seems like this is working just fine. Yeah, that's going to be my main priority, and then if that goes forward well, then I will be trying to look at some of the data that I have from my internship place. Unfortunately, cannot show any of this data because it is it has some information that is sensitive. So unfortunately, this will be a stream where you can just see me. But you're free to ask any and all questions, though. Let's see here. Write a welcome message. And pin it. The playing sound works as well. Awesome. Wait. Cool. And let's chat open here as well. So, cool. Everything should be visible to me now. Hard to answer questions if I cannot see Twitch chat, after all. Awesome. But yeah, I think I'll start going to LinkedIn. Should have some messages on there. And I would like to make a new message on there as well. It was just an automated message. That's annoying. Okay. Well, in any case, I should go. Let me just see here. Think. There. I need to make a message from LinkedIn so that people can reach out to me regarding the master's thesis. turn the music down a tiny bit, like that. My coffee isn't just cold right now, it's like basically it feels colder than room temperature, but that shouldn't make any sense. It's most likely just room temperature, but it's quite bad. I should get a new cup in a moment. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this post. Great, let's get it out. Cool. I'll close the app so I don't overthink that. Be a waste of time. I think I'll go to Reddit as well and find something. Oh, a bot. Welcome. Concise spelling 09YS. Welcome and goodbye. Where in the world is too bad? Actually, nightmare. Oh, that's the button. Way better. I get so few messages that I often forget what button to push. Get rid of bots. Do. it's like a subreddit within like career advice for Danes. Sort of hope that I can find someone in there. Doesn't necessarily work, but see what I can find. There's a bunch of old posts which are pretty relevant, but most of them aren't in management positions, it seems, unfortunately. What a weird song. I'll go to the next. There are a lot of posts here, it seems. Bum, bum, bum. Found one, but he wasn't. Oh. He didn't work in the public sector. That doesn't work. Do-do. that's annoying. I actually found one, but they deleted their account. Damn. Maybe try and get more recent posts. Bunch of reading here, gotta admit. Another one that deleted their post. Damn it. Oh. This isn't supposed to be easy, it seems. This person hasn't deleted their message, but it's hard to see if they are even a public servant. Does Reddit have an AI that can like help search? Didn't really work. Good idea though. Nothing here. Boom, 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 boom. This person is really a Reddit user. They have so many messages. I'm just trying to figure out what that job is. Jesus. Good job. It seems like she is an office worker, but not. Let's keep on looking. Might need some more coffee though. Dum, da, da, dum, ba, dum, 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 dum. Do. Not relevant, unfortunately. It's hard finding people who's like made a post about having stress as a manager in the public sector here in Denmark. It's quite a narrow field, I must admit. If you're looking in on the stream, welcome. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm just currently reading through a lot of posts to look if I can find some interviewees for my thesis. Still need a few, so we're closing in on the deadline. So I'm trying to see if there are people I can reach out to directly instead. Dun, dun, dun. This person might have something. Let's see. Within the private sector. They also seem to have like a lot of other stuff going on. Good deal. What a banger. Sorry. Sitting and reading is a lot of work. This might be it. Thank the Lord. Let me see if there's something relevant in. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. That's also not it. What if I write sick manager? They deleted their account as well. Damn. Annoying, 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 annoying. Oh, it's not supposed to be easy. Right. Works better. I think at least. Okay. Dum dum dum. There's an account called Mr. Bean. That might actually have something relevant. That's funny. Trying to figure out if they have been working in a position as a manager in a public institution. See if I... What job didn't do anything? Then the Danish word? No. Hmm. This person might be an option. Hmm. Jesus. I think I might need to make my own posts in here. Does not seem to be much of use. A lot of posts with people who like suffer from stress or other illness, but the main issue seems to be that my search term for manager basically is a part of every single post in here, because you cannot really talk about your job without talking about your manager. So that like sort of fucks up the search. I found some relevant posts, but the few that were really good, they had deleted their accounts. You know what? I'm just gonna go and make a cup of coffee, and then I might get a revelation of some kind. Just ate a small sandwich as well. That was good. Nice. Do love me some coffee. It's better warm. Do-do-do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. I'm currently downloading some mods for Skyrim as well for later tonight. Wanted to relax playing Skyrim. That's something I'm looking pretty much forward to as well. dum, dum. I wrote a message to one of the moderators to see if he could help me, so it will probably take a few minutes before he'll get back to me. Let's see, was there any traction on the LinkedIn post? No, I hate that. I hate that. 25 posts. So ass. So ass. Oh well. It is what it is. I think a Reddit post will be better. Nothing is for certain. My Skyrim mods will be completely downloaded in like what? 2-3 hours? A million years? Crazy. Do, 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 do. Oh well, I think I'll go and look at the data. Just find Excel here. Great. I think I'll get much more for the next few minutes in terms of recruiting participants at least, so might as well do something else. Okay. Right, I can see I've already categorized these and just make sure that it is correct. Yeah, so I'm categorizing them in a way where green means that they are in a public department and yellow is private. Then I should have some sort of not sure color as well. Do. Do. This isn't it. Just next song. Great. Probably do some math on these data in a few minutes. The seagulls outside are going crazy right now. Are they picking up on the microphone? Nah, don't think so. That's lucky. They are going absolutely insane. I'm looking forward to moving so much. It's going to be great. Okay, great. Got the count up. Oh, hello, Omni. Welcome to the stream. You having a good day? No, I'm not having a good day. I'm sorry to hear that. How come? Am I a psychology student? Can I help you with something? I cannot help you if it's regarding diagnosis and so on. That's like outside the legal boundaries of what I can do on stream. But I will definitely talk to you. But yes, I study psychology. I'll be a psychologist in a few months. I can give some general advice, but again, most likely you'll have to see a professional if it's serious. Yeah, sure. Talk away. I'll make sure to say if I cannot help. So you can just say whatever you want to. Just remember, the chat is public. And then I will make sure to say if there's something I cannot help with, of course. Introductions. You are 18 years old, student, class 12th India, preparing for entrance exam to go into college. Exam happens twice a year, name of the exam is G. Okay, yeah. That must be quite a stressful period when you want to get into the right colleges. I can understand that completely. Do. Okay, let's see what you wrote. Felt terribly at first attempt in January. Next attempt is in April. It was on Sunday. My school exams were over in February. So that I was quite in flow with the preparation. During March there was practical exams. And then you caught a cold. So that you had a viral fever in mid-March. Since then you wasn't able to study due to health. The 19th of 18th of 19th of March. Yeah. Sounds like you've gotten quite unlucky on that front. That's not great, but sounds like it's outside of your control, at least that part. After that, you were stressed, wasn't able to find yourself to study. Then not to face the stress because whenever you sit down and study, you get anxiety. Finish all the syllabus. Then you got distracted. Yeah. You know what? That's something that I deal with whilst doing this master's thesis as well. That you sometimes just get stuck or don't really have a hard time gathering the energy or the what would I even call that? You know, being brave enough to start the task because you know that it's going to be rough, maybe even bad, what you're going to do. I had a message on LinkedIn for like a few days that I didn't want to open because I was scared that it was something that I had to like deal with, and it might be a negative answer from one of the people that I reached out to. Then it turned out to be a bot. So you know, I could have seen that right away and wouldn't have made a difference. But sometimes we just get a bit stuck when we do stuff. Sounds like you had a lot of stuff that went wrong prior to this, so that it's like it's disturbed the plan that you had in the first place. Do. kind of avoid things like that. I also avoided my friend from saying, yeah, it's you know what you're describing to me at least sounds completely understandable, and I think it comes from often, at least in my case, and for many people, it comes from a place where it's a bit scary to admit that stuff went wrong. But the fact of the matter is, and you know what I try to say to myself as well, is that doing nothing is 100% unproductive, and trying to distract yourself is 100% unproductive. And sooner or later, one has to go into the world again and handle the issues that one is currently avoiding. So I think even though I'm not your psychologist, I would recommend that you try and open up to some of your friends, maybe that that you have a good connection to, and share with them what you've experienced. Some of your friends you might be able to trust and to talk with this about. They might have experienced something similar. And regarding your exam attempts, you know, you just have to do your best, and you can start from where you are. You have no other starting point than your current starting point anyway. So you know, even though all your plans went to shit, you are still exactly where you are, and you'll have to do your best from the point that you're stuck in right now. So you know, the best thing that I can recommend to you is that if you feel very anxious and emotionally taxed by this, I would share it with someone, and it's great that you share it with me. But I would definitely recommend that you try and share it with some of your friends that you may think would be good to talk to regarding this matter, and then try from there and say, hey, I want to try and catch up. I know I cannot catch up on everything. Do you want to go and study together for a few days maybe? This community that you get from actions like this sometimes help. I had a lot of issues when I was in high school. I was 17, maybe 17, 18, around your age. And I had like skipped a bunch of assignments. And I ended up sitting with one of my friends for at least a few days to try and catch up with him. And I wanted to handle everything by my own. And at some point, I realized that I had to give up. I had to give up on the fact that I would be able to do it by myself. And I had to give up on the fact that I could maintain my status. That I could maintain the illusion that I knew what I was doing and that everything was all right. Because the fact was that everything was not all right. So admitting that everything is all right, like you're doing to me now, you might be able to get something out of doing that to people in your real life. Because, you know, I'm on the other side of the globe. So even though I hope that everything goes well for you, there's a limit to what I can do, at least. So I recommend that you try and reach out to some people that you trust and can get some help from. And even though they cannot do much in terms of, you know, teaching you stuff, you have to learn that yourself. They can still say, hey, let's go somewhere and read on this day. We can go to my house, we can go to yours. Read for a few hours, study. You can ask me questions, I can ask you questions, and so on. You said I didn't share because my other friend is the same situation. Another friend is so selfish. Even if I tell them, they'll just listen, don't give me anything valuable. Just a very small circle. And don't think anyone would be able to understand your situation. Well, you say that one of your friends is in a similar situation. You know, sit down with those. As you said, the solution of I'm alright is falling apart. Yeah, it is, and it hurts when that illusion falls apart. It did for me, and it does for most people. And you know, you have to. It sounds stupid, but you have to give up. You have to give up on the fact that you that this will be without consequences. And that does not mean that you're fucked, or that everything is going to fall apart, or you're going to not be alright. You're 18 years old. You'll probably be fine. maybe this will cost you another half year, it might cost you a year, whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, hopefully you're going to live to around 80 years old, and this is going to be a small thing in the large picture when you get over it. But I definitely recommend that you try and reach out. If you have a friend that is in a similar situation, reach out to them. Or if you have a friend that is still in high school and isn't doing what you're doing right now, reach out to them and just, you know, find someone to study with. That helps break down this feeling of loneliness. And that might cost more energy than it's worth. Right now, you need to, or at least I would recommend that you try and seek support, so that you don't have to use your energy on feeling alone and trying to maintain the solution. It's way easier to like have your parents or your friends think that you're either, you know, not doing good enough, or have them think that you might have been lazy at some point, or whatever. It's easier to have them think that now, and then get on to doing the important stuff. Yeah, it's easier to lie. Yeah, it is easy to lie, right until the point in time where it doesn't work anymore. And I think it's important that to think about whether you are in a spot where lying might work for 2 weeks, it might work for 3 weeks, but it will not solve your problems. You know, it will just keep you afloat, like someone trying to swim in a river. And they're just keeping themselves above water, but they need to ask someone to throw out a rope or something that you can get onto the shore with. You cannot stay trying to keep yourself above water like this. That's at least how I write what you're or read what you're writing. Won't be allowed that much because they think that I would be doing better studying if you were alone. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Then you can try and ask if they can come by your house instead. Or you can sit down with your siblings if you have siblings. Or you can just admit it to your parents and say, hey, I don't feel as ready as I thought I would. This illness has really screwed things up for me. Is it okay if I talk to you regarding that? And I know from other people at least that Indian parents in some situations are quite strict, but you know, they're going to be strict if you screw it up anyway. So you know, sometimes it's easier to say the honest part before they figured it out in another way. Okay, wait, the last part of the puzzle. Why am I not able to share with anybody? I'll tell you that, then take everything in picture. Yeah, sure. Sure, share away. Okay, you write something? No, not yet. I was just busy trying to count in my Excel document. Do. Ling. See what you wrote. Do. Need to figure out. My family put everything for me. They sold one shop, put me into coaching institute, later into extra tuition. Was preparing for 2 years. Big illusion. I've been giving up in the start last year. I was doing fine. Backlogs come up to. Promised. Wait for next part. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Yeah. Twitch messages aren't made for like large amounts of text, it seems. I'll just be writing on my thesis while you write. It's completely fine. Do. Bling. Okay, promised you a try, but later I met dead end. Then I failed in January attempt. After that they understood what I had gone through, and then again promised everything. Won't be an issue, I will be able to do it. They believed me again. Father and mother were in shock to see my result. They didn't expect that. I had to go through that. Now things are normalized again. It's kind of happening again. We're kind of broke. Don't think my parents would consider another try? Or... yeah. Okay. So I understand completely that you are in a rough spot. Making a drop year because we don't have enough money, yeah. Friends are open for a drop, but my family won't consider it, I think. Don't want to break the trust. Yeah, okay. So I think there are a few parts in that where you seem to understand the situation just fine, and you know what's coming, and that's also maybe sort of the thing that makes you a bit scared. But it's important to remember that all the time that you didn't study has gone by. It's too late to study yesterday. It's simply not possible. We don't have the time machine. You cannot do something a week ago. You have to do it now. You have to do it. Well, yeah, you can only do something now. You cannot do something tomorrow either. Then you'll have to wait. So I understand that you are scared and that there's a lot riding on this. I work within the admissions area for master's admissions here in my university, actually, as a student counselor, and there are people from Bangladesh or India as well, who come by the office sometimes and want to study in Denmark. And I completely understand that there is a lot of pressure on your shoulders right now, and that there is a lot of economic pressure as well. And that's something that unfortunately is just a part of the hand that you were dealt. What I would recommend that you do is probably, as I said before, find someone to share it with. It's great that you share it with me. That's a good start to open up and tell it somewhere, to admit that everything is not going well. And then I would recommend that you try, and if you have some friends that you think you can share this with, or if you have your sibling that you can share it with, again, you said you had an older sister, I seem to remember. You can share it with her as well. And then I would actually just see if you could try and sit down and nice and slowly study. You're welcome to study with me. I'm currently just sitting with my master's thesis, and I would wish that I started 3 months earlier with some parts of this process, and it's too late for me as well to start those parts. So feel free to stay in here and just sit down and study, try and understand. A good thing to do could be to try and engage in some study strategies. So figure out what fields do you still need to study from, and then just do a specific area, if that is trigonometry or something like that. Then sit and do trigonometry for 30 minutes, and then look back at those 30 minutes. Okay, how well did that go? Great. Are you tired of trigonometry? Okay, in that case, go to a different area of maths. Are you too tired to do any more maths? Okay, what do you want to do? So, but you have to take away the option of doing something else. That sort of includes watching me, even though that sounds stupid. But you have to give you have to take away the option for your brain to run away. And a good way to do that is to admit that stuff is not going well. It's great that you admit it here. I'd recommend that you try and tell it to someone that you trust as well. And regarding the consequences within your family, if you admit it now and they are able to, and admitting it will give you like the space that you need to get yourself together and study a bit more, then that's worth it. If it ends up that you do not pass the test, then they know on beforehand why it happened, and they won't be surprised in the same way. And that in itself might also be a decent thing. And if you don't get another try, then that was it. Then you have to try and make your own way from there. And I know that's annoying and sad. But you only have the cards that you're dealt. I would definitely recommend that you try and see if you can find some peace in the fact that stuff didn't go well until now, but you are still able to do something right now. I would recommend that you try and sit down and study, not because you and try and remove some of the pressure from yourself. You know, you cannot do anything yesterday anyway. So you just have to do the best that you can from this point on. You have to give up on the thought that, okay, this didn't go well because I didn't study for all 4 months or 3 months or whatever. You just have to say, okay, but I can do my best from this point on. And you also studied for the test last time, so probably some of this might be stuff that you've gone through before. Hopefully that helps a bit. But yeah, there are no easy solutions in your case, unfortunately. I think it's just a matter of biting the bullet and doing what has to be done, but also reaching out to the ones that you care about so that you may be able to get some support. And I understand that you are scared. A lot of social pressure, not just social pressure, you know, it's also economic pressure. Yeah, I understand completely that if your family would have been open to the fact that it is okay to fail and that this was, you know, a bit more internalized in your beliefs, then this might have been a bit easier. As I understand Indian culture, there is a bit less openness to failing. Because there is a bit more on the line, you know. It's you do not have a social security net the same way as we do in Denmark, for example. So it is okay to fail, and you know, even if you fail, there's not much to do about it. So I recommend that you try and do your best. If you fail, then you did your best, and if you pass it, then you also did your best. But you know, standing still and being afraid is not getting you where you want to go anyway. So I definitely recommend that you just try and focus and say to yourself, I'm doing everything I can. If I fail, then that's it. Then I will have to live with whatever consequences comes from that. But ultimately, not trying will almost guaranteed get you to fail. And in that way, you know, then you can try your best and maybe it will work. I hope that it will for you. Really do. Bling, bling, bling. Let's see what's going on here. I assessed her quite well. The moment I say to her, what happens if I'm not able to clear the exam? Drop an option. She'll be like, is everything alright? Then conversation would go on. I might consider talk to her. You know what hurts the most is your mother coming to me and will be able to do it, son. And I bluntly lied, yeah, don't stress. Everything's... Sometimes she asks, yeah. You know, my recommendation to you is to... If, yeah, I am, but I'm not actually, I'm lying. I want when I talk with my sister. Yeah. You know, sometimes we try and protect ourselves from the consequences of our actions. But I think in your case, try and share it in a way where you think that she will maybe understand a bit better. So you can... It's not that you have to lie, but you can say that I've had a really hard time studying after I was sick. And I am doing my best, and then of course I want you to do your best as well. It's not like you can just, you know, completely lie. But I think it's fine to say that you've had a bit of a hard time after you were sick, and that you want, you hope that it will go all right, but you're a bit nervous at the moment. And say that, you know, you really want to pass, you want to do your best, and you know that your parents want you to do it, you to do your best as well. But you're nervous, and you know, it's completely understandable that you're nervous. There's a lot of the on the line, and you know, you're really hoping that it will go well. But again, honesty is in this case maybe a bit better. You don't have to say I've been sitting and staring at nothing or sitting and watching streams every single night, but you can say that I don't think it has gone as well as I'd hoped. You can say that. Tried with people who got barely any response, sought help through Discord communities, didn't got any. You know, I'm not helping you much. I'm just reading out loud what you're saying. But ultimately, I think what you need to do is that you need to try and really give up on the fact that this will go over easily. It will not. This will be hard. If you pass, it will still be hard. It will be a lot of hard studying. I think it's good to share it with someone, so I'm glad that you shared it here. But I think you have to share it with someone in your real life as well. And maybe, you know, cut a little bit loose on trying to get help from Discord and streams and such, because the only thing that we can give you, me included, is understanding and maybe a few pieces of advice. But ultimately, you know, and I know that you know this, but what you need to do is study. So I think share it with someone in your real life. That could be a sister, that could be your parents. I get the feeling that might be a bit harder for you to do. It might also be your friends. Share it with someone and say, hey, I want someone to sit with me a bit while I study. And I'm sure that they can, that there might be someone in your life that can do that. I really hope so. And you are, of course, welcome to just stay in the stream and just listen to me clicking on my keyboard and the silent music, and then and just stay around. And then I will be studying, and hopefully you will be studying as well. Give an AI like a response. Yeah, you know, it's hard to help. And it takes time, and you know, it's also hard for many of us to understand what people in different parts of the world, what kind of pressure they are under. But I at least I remember when I was in high school and I was really screwing up my third year in high school. I also had a hard time admitting that to anyone. But it was first when I really, when it really went wrong. That was when I gave up on the fact that I could like maintain the lie. I recommend that you try and figure out a way to like cut loose on this. And you can share it in a bunch of different ways. You don't have to say I've fucked everything up. You can just say, hey, I think it's not going as well as I'd hoped. I think it's rough. I was sick and now I am having a hard time studying as well as I wanted to. And I feel a bit behind. Is it possible for someone to sit with me while I study? Can I go to my friend's house and study with them? Something like that. But for your family and your friends to help you, they need to understand you a bit better than just the fact that I'm doing fine. Because I'm doing fine is not the truth. And then, of course, I hope with everything that I can that you will be passing. Because it's not impossible for you to pass. I don't think that. It's never impossible to do anything. So I think you need to get into the mindset of, okay, what is most important for me to study up on? What do I need to get ready? Great. And this is something that I've been doing for my exams at the university also. If I'm behind on a subject and I don't have the time to study up on everything, then I try and prioritize and I figure out, okay, what is most important within this field and what do I have the least amount of knowledge within. And with these two pieces of information, then you can figure out, okay, I don't know anything about, vectors in mathematics. Let's talk about those. So if you don't know anything about vectors in mathematics, then that's probably a good place to start if you know that there will be questions about that. If you're unsure, or if you know that there will only be one question out of 500 within that field, then that might also just be the point where you say, okay, that is the area where I will be guessing. I will just give it a good guess, and then I'll go on to the next part of the assignment. Because I don't know exactly how your exams will work, but often they are timed. So sometimes it's also fine to just conclude, I will not be getting good at this in the time that I have. So yeah, that's like the best response that I can give you. And then, the next best thing I can say is go study. I don't know what the time is on your side of the world. Let me just see here. Time in India. It's 18:18. Yeah. After you've had dinner, sit down, try and study. Or if you're waiting for someone to make dinner right now, sit down and study until you have dinner. Sit down and try and figure out, okay, what do you need to study? You can do that before dinner. Yeah. Exams is 3 days. You'll try your best. I'm glad to hear that. And again, I understand that it's a horrible timeline that you have. It's a huge pressure, but ultimately the only thing that you can do is to try and try your best. So if you're having dinner in a few minutes or hours, I recommend that you sit down and try and get a look at, okay, what are the most important parts that you need to figure out? And then after dinner, you'll get going with those. And if you have the time, I'd recommend that you try and talk to your sister or your friends today. That is my recommendation to you. Then if you study by yourself, you're welcome to stay in the stream. But I think that you should try and prioritize, just writing. Then you can sit in the background. But I don't think that you should try and engage with too much, if that makes sense. So, don't give your brains too many distractions. Just sit there and whatever you need to do to get going, do that and then give it a shot. I hope that you'll make it. And then whatever happens, you can always come by in a few weeks and if I'm online and then tell me how it went. I will gladly talk to you again. But you know, there's no better time to start than right now. I think that you should try and see if you can start something right now. That would be a great idea. Then I will also do my very best to try and finish my master's thesis. Then we can both do our best. That's gonna be great. Maybe it's gonna be horrible, but you know, we'll do our best anyway. That's the important part. Hello, Birdbanes. Good to see you around. What am I up to today? I'm currently looking through some large data sets for people who came by the clinic for health in the workplace at the university hospital that I was at, to figure out how many of those were public managers in the public sector. So that's what I was doing precisely. Yeah, I'm working on my thesis. I'll be doing that for the next months. That's the only thing I'm going to be doing. Tried cutting out social media, cut out everything for a week, failed later due to having nothing to do at all. Yeah, I mean, I understand completely that sometimes we try and choose to for example, cut something out in the hopes that will fix stuff. The effect of the matter is that, you know, cutting it or not cutting it is actually not what you need to do. You need to just try and you know, give up on the fact that this will go perfectly. Give up the lie, so to say, and you know, give it a good shot. Give it your best. That's all that you can do from now on. And great to hear that you'll try and talk to your family today. I wish you the best of luck. And of course I will be listening. You're welcome to sit in the stream and listen to the study session. How are you doing today, Birdbanes? You doing good? See there. Oh, I screwed up my tabs. Damn it. Okay, there. You're good. Thanks for asking. Think you overate. You know what? That's a real first world problem. But I'm glad that you're doing all right. Other than that, I know exactly how I feel. Sometimes you just eat so much because it's tasty or something like that, and then you just end up almost feeling like throwing up. My girlfriend always gets a stomach ache when she eats too much. I'm fortunately not in that position. My stomach rarely aches. But I have definitely been eating too much at some points in time. digestion isn't as efficient as now that you're older. You know what? That's completely fair, man. Police officer, that's definitely. Do you have any luck finding the stress-related illness that you're looking for the other day? I've actually found a lot of good data and articles, but I still need some more interviewees. So you know, it's and so. I really hope that this will go better soon, really soon, hopefully. Because without more more people that I can interview, it will be quite a boring thesis. I'm a bit scared that that won't be enough. So, but I've reached out on Reddit to a Danish Reddit subreddit where there should be some people, and then I've reached out on LinkedIn. Hopefully, one of those two things results in some amount of success. I truly hope so. Was giving it some thought after the stream the other day. I was thinking stomach issues related to stretch, like stomach ulcer. Yeah, that is definitely also stress related in some cases, but it's hard to make the direct causality argument for that, because you can also get stomach ulcers from like a billion other things. But it's definitely true that you can get stomach ulcers from stress, for example. I'll just quickly do a quick call while I make another cup of coffee. Just be right back for 5 minutes. Hello, hello. I'm back. I am back. You know, even though this might be anticlimactic, I think I will just be rounding off for today. Because yeah, I could use some change of pace. So I hope everyone have a awesome day, and I will see you later. Maybe later today, probably not. Probably Saturday.